What's good, y'all? Ferguson-Bey here. Um, got the Real Talk episode coming tomorrow. It's going to be live. It's a live um, podcast, open mic podcast. I know sometimes I come on here to talk about, content creation and stuff like that, but I also want to give um, more, you know, I can't even think of the word, but actual, right, steps to the content creation thing. So I'm gonna give you some tools that I use in order to content or create content. I know sometimes I get on here, I'm like, hey, you don't really need to plan. Like I'm not planning this, right? So you don't really need to plan. You just have something in mind that you want to talk about. You want to show up. But as you move along and you say you want to do a live episode, you want to do a live broadcast or something like that. I'm going live right now, but sometimes you want to have your thoughts aligned and um, organized in a way that you can, you know, go through your steps and go through your show in the way that you see fit. So I'm going to bring up and share my screen and show you one of the tools that you can use to help with your content creation journey. So share my screen now. Put this up, share, and let me see if I can make it skinnier just in case, you know. All right. So this one is called Session Lab. All right. So with Session Lab, let me see if I can change the layout. Put my bubble head down here. All right. So with Session Lab, you can, plan your events and stuff like that. So I'm gonna do go to, just go here, Session Lab, right? You can do create a session, right? And plan your agenda. All right. You can do a blank agenda. This is what I normally do. And then you can start adding blocks. All right. So blocks here. So as you can see with Session Lab, you can go to the top here and say my show starts. I want it to start at 6:30, but say I want to start planning stuff by 6. All right, 6 p.m. and the show's gonna last until yada yada yada. Let's say I only want to do an hour or two, right? So let's say 6 to 8. All right, 8. All right. So it tells you how long. Hold on, 6. All right, to 8. And you can set the date and all that as well. And this is going to be on the 17th. All right. And total planned time. No. So, and then, you can continue to add blocks. So, um, this one's going to be, real talk podcast. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Real Pod Podcast, Real Talk Podcast, episode 1. All right. So 6:30, I may say come in here. Well, 6 o'clock, I may say come in here and, you know, set up, right? Set up for 15 minutes or 10 minutes, right? So that's 10 minutes. Then I can add a block, another block, right? So it's adding time here. Another 10-minute block. So that's 6:20. I can say load playlist. Because I want to have some music, right? So load playlist. That's part of the setup, but she's still setting up. Then, so I got my setup, load my playlist, take a break, bathroom break, because you're going to be in here for a while. So take a break, get you something to drink, get some food, blah, blah, blah. All right. So that's 30 minutes to set up, right? I can make this one a little bit shorter, You can do what you want with this, right? So this one I can say, take it down to 5 minutes. And we load that for 5 minutes, take this down to 5 minutes. All right. And then at this time, I can add a block and say, all right, da, 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 take break. It's an untitled block. And you can load them here, right? Set up music. right? Arrive in studio, right? And more, right? Break. I'll usually get here an hour before the show starts, but I'll do 6:30, right? I'll probably already be here. Just make sure. And then here I can say start, start music and starting soon screen, right? So you want to let people know you're about to go live, and it'll just be playing music, and you can just mute yourself and your microphone, and then go about your business while people are prepping to come in and stuff like that. So then here, air block, you pretty much get it, but I'm setting up my show right now. So here, music starts. You can say um, introduction, introduction, and in here I can say intro, right? I can say share links, right? The sharing the links will tell people how to get on if they want to ask a question, if they want to call in or something like that. So intro, share links, um, objectives, and we'll go about what we're going to talk about. And what we're going to talk about is next, right? So we go through that. Let me say this one, start music. This starts at 10:30, and it's probably not going to be 10 minutes. It's probably going to be 5 minutes doing that. Objectives, right? Then you also hit here. Same thing, add a block. First question, say we talk about Knicks winning championship, right? And we can talk about that for 5 minutes or less. Then we talk about violence or riots following championships, stuff like that, right? Just so you stay on path, just so you have a flow of what's going on. Riots following championships, you know, talk about, attacking Spurs and stuff like that, attacks, right? And then ask a question, right? We could do a poll question, poll, right? What, you know, what do you think? Uh, like, do you think this is cool to, you know, destroy stuff after after winning a championship? Is it, people do it all the time, right? But is that cool or something like that? So you can tie it into something like that. Um, and we can go over those results, and that's not going to take too long. Um, Following championships, you take that down to 5, right? So right now we're at 48 minutes, right? I'll do 5 minutes for that. Um, it shouldn't even be off. I know it's not going to be 5 minutes. Next win championship, then we can talk about block. It's not all going to be sports. UFC, see at White House, and then you can plan on what you're going to lead into White House. And 5 minutes, and you can plan out your entire show like this. So this again, this is called session lab, right? And I'm just going through to show my show, right? All right, and you're gonna do it for an hour. You can pay, right? I got the free plan, so you can play. And this is basically all I do. It has other tools here. You can add attachments and stuff like that. Um, let me see. Let me test some of this out. Mind map, right? So this keeps you in there. Arrive in studio, set up music, start music, yada yada yada, right? I never really used these, right? Task session will be grouped here, right? So if you need your materials, you can lift them out. I got everything I need. I just need to pick my music. Um, what's this parking lot? So parking lot, and collect ideas, notes, and stuff like that. So that's where you brainstorm your library. What's this for? Break ice with four quadrants activity. So this is cool. So how now, matrix, stinky fish, blah blah blah, to run early in the program. So it gets some icebreakers here. Again, I mainly use it for um, planning out events and stuff like that. And I want to do more live events, so this is one of the tools I use to make sure the show has structure and I'm not up here rambling like I am now. But yeah, um, so again, you arrive in studio, set up the music, take a break. Some things you may not think about. Start the music, so they take a break, get some food, talk about the Knicks, talk about rights after championship, do a poll. UFC at the White House. I may want to break here, right? And play music like a DJ. One day, I want to get a DJ here, so play music for about 5 minutes. You know, chill out, relax, and I wanted to have a nice conversation. Um, Here you can probably take breaks, set up music, start streaming, introduction. Objective. Probably first here intro. You know, ask people where they are from and to comment it, right? So boom, go into it. Say we get started soon, blah blah blah, da da da. Um, I wanted to say something about this Trump derangement syndrome. I may talk about that for a little bit, and then what's the dude name? Carmelo Anthony. So just talking about current events. And again, if you wanted to talk about something specific, it's an open mic podcast. So you'd have to sign up. If you see the link below, go ahead, click the link below, and you'd be able to talk about what you want to talk about. You can come to the studio, or we could do it virtually from your place. So you'd be able to pick the subjects and what you'd want to talk about during these events. But if you haven't signed up already, we're not doing that this week, right? If you haven't already signed up, if you have already signed up, we can get you on, of course. But if you haven't signed up already, just sign up so I know you're interested, and then we can talk, and then we can get you set up. Make sure you got everything you need to, appear nice. Or if you wanted to come to the studio, you can come to the studio and do that. So we talk about the Carmelo Anthony, and we do that for what I wanted to talk about that is triggers. So triggers, right? A lot of times we look at the response, right? Look at the response, but not the trigger or the root cause, right? A lot of times we look at the trigger. Let me see, comment. Let me say, and I can put that here. Sometimes we don't look at the root of the problem, but the response. And I'll talk about that for a little bit, have a conversation about that, and then boom. So see if that stays. Yep, that stays. And yeah, and that'll be about 10 minutes on that. Um, close that. I like this right here. What else? I think that'll be. I want to do something on relationships. So I may just pull a card, block. I have some games and stuff like that. So I may pull a card, pull a card, and answer questions. May do that. Maybe pull three cards, right, and give my opinion on that. And that'll be about, say, get at about 15 minutes. And I say it started at 6:30. It's 7:30 now, so we're pretty good. Pull a card and answer questions. I say pull three cards. So I gotta get the cards, make sure the cards are ready, and da, 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 da. Answer questions. Say relationships. It's a big talk cards we have, and dilemmas. And at the end, dilemmas. I can't even see dilemma. Can't spell dilemmas. All right. And then from there, we can do a giveaway. So block. And we do a Cash App giveaway. Cash App giveaway. Because you got to keep people engaged. And for the giveaway, I may just ask, what's my opinion on a topic? Or, you know, what did I say? I'll probably say like a password regarding. Yeah, I'd probably give a password in the beginning somewhere. Give me a password that I said earlier, and I'm not going to tell y'all where I'm going to put it. All right. So, and that'll be the giveaway. We'll be at about 7:45, and then we can add block, and then close out. Close out. All right. And for guests, I can add guests in here and stuff like that. So right now, I'm looking at about an hour if people show up. Um, sometimes you got to count on people not showing up. So um, people show up, we can put them in there and make sure we go. But we want to make sure at least if nobody shows up, right? Some people sign up and don't show up. So if nobody shows up, we can still keep the show going, right? I used to do open mics. Let me take that off. I used to do open mics when I was younger. Stop sharing. So I used to do open mics when I was younger, and then sometimes in the beginning, um, people wouldn't get on. Like you do open mic poetry, people wouldn't want to get on and perform. They want just to come and watch and not perform. All right. So some people may want to just come and watch and not participate. So you got to be prepared for that and more. So just want to be prepared for that. And again, that one is called Session Lab. All right. And I'll show you again. Share screen. Da, da, da. So that one. Yep. Share. All right. And again, so we do Real Talk Podcast episode 1, and I can continue using this forever, right? Have the same setup. Arrive at studio, set the music up, take a break, start music, and screen, starting soon screen, introduction, talk about the Knicks winning championship. So again, you don't really have to plan everything out, right? And this is not everything planned out. I'm going to look at this, say Knicks win the championship. I'm going to give my opinion on it, right? And give my, talk about the riots and stuff like that. Some important things, like Jalen Brunson and stuff like that. So I'm not going to say it all now, but just have some points that you want to hit on um, when you're thinking about the championship. So do a poll, right? Keep people engaged. Play some music, keep people engaged. This one leads into this because I do like the UFC at the White House. I think that was cool. I would have tried to go to that. If I wasn't, so focused on this, I would have, probably thought to buy a ticket. I didn't think to buy a ticket till it was like the day before. So, but I'll talk about this. Carmelo Anthony, some three cards. May talk to the crowd, and close out. So yeah, if y'all have any questions, probably it probably take us 2 hours anyway. I may go over on some of these, but I have a clock on the wall to keep me straight. And yeah, if you have any questions regarding content creation and stuff like that, just let me know. And yeah, let me stop the share. And yeah, so again, you don't really need to plan everything out. A lot of people are real anal and about planning, and sometimes that prevents you from actually doing it. So that's why I don't really plan anything out. I don't like editing, so that's why I go live, right? That's why I'm gonna go live tomorrow, right? So as you do stuff more and more, the you start to figure out your own process. You'll start to figure out what you don't like or what you do like, and you can, kind of mold your life to those things. You can kind of mold these creative activities to those things. Because like if you don't feel like editing, don't edit. Like it's not rocket science. Like, but how do you get your content out in a professional way to your audience, right? You go live, right? How do you make it so that you don't make mistakes? You're going to make mistakes. You're going to stutter. So get better at talking, right? Go to some classes if you want to, or just talk more, right? The more you talk, the more easier it'll be to find the words that you're looking for. Sometimes I forget the words I'm looking for. Um, it was a word I was thinking about in the beginning of this, and I was thinking like applied. I want to give you more applicable, tips instead of theory and stuff like that. So again, I circle back. Then when I post this, right, I can say, hey, I'm gonna give you more applicable tips that you can apply, to your content creation journey, right? So once you think of the word, you can go forward with that. The I just said, right? They have software. Like I use Riverside. They have software and they have, well, it's all software, but Riverside, Descript, I think even Adobe's premium, Adobe Premiere has, edit by text. So nowadays, when you can edit by text, you can filter out filler words. So I'm not worried about saying I'll say a lot. But when you put your clips together, you can, filter out the the fluffer words and stuff like that. The filler words is what I'm looking for. Again, you can mold this to what you want it to be. I just say don't plan, right? If your planning prevents you from putting out content. I say don't edit if your editing prevents you from putting out content, right? It's not that serious, right? You don't have to do what you don't want to do. You don't have to, right? If you want to put out content, you want to be a content creator, right? Do it. Like if you have an excuse, I don't like doing this, I don't like doing that, don't do it. Some people go around like, hey, I got to put my makeup on. Like, okay, if you want to put makeup on every day that you want to create content, then do that. But if you don't feel like doing it, don't do it, right? You don't have to put on makeup. You don't have to do your hair every time, right? So that's where I want to get people at. It's just if you want to put out content, decide the content that you want to put out, right? If you want to do your hair and makeup, you can do a show in your pajamas if you want to. Like every day, I'm going to do a show in my pajamas, right? Just because I don't feel like doing my hair and makeup, right? and you can sit on top of your bed and you can talk to the camera. Simple, like I say, you don't got to come to the studio. So again, I'm trying to encourage you, but again, trying to give you some tips and tools that you can actually apply in real life to utilize to get to your goals and to reach the status that you want to reach, right? And the way you're going to reach that is being consistent, right? If you're not putting out content, you're not going to reach those goals. So I just wanted to share that with you. So in order to reach those goals, just put out the content. And if something's stopping you from putting out the content, remove that obstacle, remove that barrier. That's all I wanted to say. But Ty Ferguson-Bey here, and I'll see y'all. Got something to do. Videos out. See how quick that is? Videos out. No editing necessary. May go back, put out a clip, and then we good. So talk to y'all. Thanks for watching. I'll see y'all.